Hello, I'm Steve Lane. I'm a rock and roll musician, and I'm surrounded by vinyl records because that is the only true way to listen to music. Today, on our episode of Rock Talk, I'm going to be talking with Mr. Joey Carter. Joey is a Phoenix musician. He's been on a lot of soundtracks, including Arachnophobia and a few others. And he's also been highlighted in quite a few rock bands in the Phoenix area. Joey's a great musician. He's played rock, he's played country, he's done it all. He's coming up next with his 5 favorite music acts of all time.
Made in the USA.
Hello and welcome to our second edition of Rock Talk. I'm Steve Lane, and with me today I've got Joey Carter, an old friend who I haven't seen in quite some time, but man, I tell you what, we used to rock and roll back in the day. Gosh dang, Joey, we met in like 95, I believe.
I was going to say 94.
Yeah, 94. Yeah, it might have been 94. Yeah, at the music shop, man.
Guitar, keyboard, city.
That's right. Right. That was awesome, man. Good times. But since then, man, gosh dang, you've got Ryzen, you've got Raising Cane. You played with all kinds of people, all kinds of artists. What are you doing currently right now musically?
I'm working with Tara Shane, and we're a total of 5 guys now. Of course, nice. I have Roger Pettin and Lance on bass, Tim on drums, and I get the pleasure of actually writing and playing with Will Pierce instead of just showing up and, going to play on his gear and give him a break, so to speak, backyard party jam. We're actually writing together. Tara Shane's looking to record. Just had a couple gigs with Ryzen, some celebrations, birthdays, and got plenty of gigs with Raising Cane. And I actually have a gig coming up this summer with the Sensationals Experience. We're bringing that back.
That's what I like to hear. That's awesome, man. Back in the day, you worked on some soundtracks, right? Like I remember you worked on Arachnophobia and a couple other movies.
Yeah, and
is that right with that?
The latest and greatest was Chronicles of the Steam.
Nice.
It's independent film, and it was kind of, I don't want to say steampunk, but it was in that vein and kind of had a Western feel, and the characters are kind of outlaws, and you had your, nemesis and your heroes, and I got to play on a lot of the material on that soundtrack.
That's
Bruce
awesome.
Ray produced that.
Oh, wow, man. That is so cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of steampunky stuff, so that's cool. I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
I actually have a really cool ESP guitar that's got like steampunk theme to it, but they call it, I forget at the moment, Clockwork Zombie. So it's got like timepieces, saw blades, skulls, big steer skeleton, and it's authenticated. I got all the paperwork. It's like one of only so many. It's one of my favorite axes.
I bet. That's probably my favorite one. It is my favorite. I'm looking at my LTD right now. LTD and ESP, my favorite. That's just me, personally.
You have the ECs?
No, I've got an LTD up here. Not like the most craziest one. Like I'm sure you've got some crazy stuff, but I think that's going to be my brand for life. I'm really into them. I like them a lot. Like if I get another guitar, it's going to be the same thing, just a different finish.
If I were to get another ESP, I would probably look at Marty Friedman's signature model.
Yeah. Now you're talking. Yeah. Got that drop D going on, man.
Low B.
Oh, low B's. Low B. My bad.
But then you can drop C.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, cool, man. Now we got the guitar chatter out of the way. Got to ask you the main question I ask everybody on this. Who are your top 5 musical acts? And I understand it was difficult to come up with them, and I'm proud of you for narrowing it down to 5. If it changes again tomorrow, that's all right. So if you want to go, do you have them in order, or are they just kind of randomly all there?
Well, I mean, I don't think I could put them in any order, like, top, but I'm going to say that currently Alter Bridge and believe it or not.
Oh, wait. Don't tell me who they all are yet. I need to know one at a time.
All right.
So number 1, let's just go alphabetically if you'd like. Alter Bridge. Let's get into that. I like them. Why do you like them so much?
Well, Mark Tremonti was what I think with Creed, a closet guitar player. And I always had a suspicion about him being just incredible and insane. And with Alter Bridge, he came out and he proved both of those things, incredible and insane. I mean, some of the riffs that I heard him do were almost didn't make what a lot of people would consider musical sense, but it just sounded beautiful. It was right in its place, right where it needed to be, and his way of expressing himself. So he's a big, big reason why I like Alter Bridge. And Miles Kennedy, that guy, the way he sings, he's an inspiration. And I hadn't heard anything like that since, Tony Harnell or Danger Danger's vocalist, Steelheart's vocalist, Slaughter, but he's, of course, in his own category. He's outstanding and inspirational. I mean, if I could sing any better, I would aspire to sing like Miles.
And you like any Miles stuff outside of Alter Bridge?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Miles' solo stuff, and I like Tremonti. But when
Very cool.
When Mark and Miles come together, it's Alter Bridge, and although I like them apart, there's nothing like the two of them together. And listening to interviews and catching little snippets about how they talk about how they write when they bring it all together, it's admirable. I would like to have, that kind of a relationship when writing with somebody like that. But as I said, the Tara Shane stuff I'm working on right now, everybody is part of it. Everybody's writing, everybody's pitching in, and I've never had a situation like that before. So I feel pretty lucky.
Oh, man. Heck yeah, I would too. That's way cool. Way cool. I love it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Numero dos.
Disturbed.
Nice.
Definitely.
Straight out of Chicago.
Yeah.
What do you like about them? I like them a lot, by the way.
I just like the feel, everything that comes through their music, just the way it hits me, the way it feels, the way that David sings, the way that the hard part and the way that they can take it down, mellow it out, speed it up, crush it. And I've seen them live more than once and honestly did not know what to expect. And out the gate, it was kind of like being a musician and loving to go to see live music myself, kind of making too many comparisons, but probably about halfway through the second song, as things are ramping up and, every bit of what they do for their live show, from their production, and you can tell how well rehearsed they are, the order that they select their songs for their set list, and then, the lights and the sound and the magic that it is. I love Disturbed for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And his vocals got better over time, in my opinion.
I agree. And when they did The Sound of Silence, that was definitely unexpected.
Yeah. I like their remakes a lot. I think they do.
Have you heard their
in their own
most recent album or their most recent cut?
Possibly. Which one? What is it?
I only saw it a couple times, but I think it's called Indestructible.
Oh yeah. No, I've got that. I've got the album, I think.
Well, that was kind of a tongue-in-cheek threat that they made about doing another album, and so they followed through with it, at least according to Blabbermouth.
Right. Very cool, man. Yeah, I love them. I think they're fantastic. I bet you they're great live too. I've seen them on, YouTube and TV and stuff live, but I've never been to actually one of their shows. So I bet you that was pretty amazing. I love them.
I know they're coming here later this year. I'm not sure where their tour is going to take them, but if you get a chance, I'd say go see them. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely go check them out. All right, cool, man. So moving on, numero tres. Who's your third?
Right now, and this is going to surprise you, I'm sure, Winger.
I love Kip Winger.
Well,
he's great. I've actually seen them. I actually saw them live.
The most recent album, I don't think it's, that good. Recent, but yeah, it's just...
No, it's great. It's on Frontier.
It's probably the best Winger since the first release. And I mean, what did they have, like 7 albums or something like that? Something like
that.
Not a whole bunch in their catalog, but
yeah,
I've been playing that one and looping it. And so
that's awesome,
as far as
I'm a big fan.
What do you want to say about Winger? Kip has a great feel for melody, especially for vocals over what he writes. Him and Red Beach work really well together. I love that they have Paul Taylor back. Rod Morgenstein's just, everybody who knows him knows he's just a killer drummer. And then
killer.
Their addition of the other guitar player, John, I always have a hard time remembering him, but if you see them live and you see what that guy can do, I mean, he can do some chicken picking stuff that you wouldn't expect. It's incredible. I like anybody who can do that. Chicken picking,
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I
Yeah.
played, and along with some country guys here and there along the way, and of course played in a Leonard Skinner tribute. And I learned more about
Nice.
slide, but I always wish I could do a little bit more of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that album, it's on Frontier Records, right?
Yeah,
Wingers Lyrics. Yeah, that's really good. I like the whole thing.
I like
I
just
was
about
surprised.
anything that Frontier is offering these days. I mean, Striper is on there, Night Ranger,
Yeah, and they're killing it.
Iconic, and F. Scott Soto.
Love him.
I don't know if you remember Harem Scarum.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
They were out of Canada. They were popular in the 80s, and
Nice.
they've had some recent releases. There's just too many to name. Revolution Saints. You want to talk about
Oh, I
super
love
groups?
Revolution Saint. All
Yeah,
incarnations.
yeah. I mean, he started out
Yeah.
with Jack Blades from Night Ranger and Doug Aldrich. Now he's got Joel Hoekstra and Jeff Pilson. But Dean Castronovo is, a force to be reckoned with. And
Oh,
when
yeah.
he sings the Journey stuff anymore, he sounds he's got that bit of Steve, but, I wouldn't want to say it to Steve Perry's face, but Dean's a little better, at least these
No,
days.
it's unfortunately, Steve Perry is one of my favorite vocalists ever.
Same
Like
here.
he poor guy can't sing very, very well anymore. Unfortunately, it's not his fault. It's just, his condition and whatnot. But I've seen Dean, gosh, I think 3 times with Journey and twice with Steve Augeri. And as much as I like the Arrival album with Steve Augeri, live, he wasn't so great, in my opinion. And I think that Dean sounded much better than Steve Augeri did. And I'm not saying he's a bad singer. Steve Augeri is a great singer, but when he does his songs, he's a great singer. When he
Right.
tries to do Perry, it's like, eh. But when Dean does Steve Perry, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, why isn't he the singer? He's freaking awesome. Oh, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Dean. I'm a big fan of Revolution Saints. I mean, we're kind of getting off the beaten track here with the top artists, but man, I could talk about Revolution Saints all day.
Yeah, we could have a whole nother episode about Frontier record label artists.
Man. Big time. Big time. I think Striper sounds better now than they did in the 80s, too.
Yep, I
And
agree.
I've always been a Striper fan since day one, since the first EP, Yellow and Black Attack. I've always been a fan.
Yeah, I was
day one.
introduced to them early, just like you.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Funny thing, Michael was just doing a solo thing up at a small church or group, like I want to say church group. But it's hard to call them that when they meet out of a high school, but I had a buddy of mine ask me if I wanted to go up there and see him. And they were, I think it's Prescott Valley. And I had a gig that night, so I had to say no. And he's like, what, you don't want to go hang out with Michael Sweet? I'm like, yeah, I would like to, but I have a gig.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome.
So
That is
real
awesome.
quick,
All right.
I told
Yeah.
you the top bands or music artists, musicians, whatever I like now. If we had to back up about 40 years, I would have said Whitesnake, INT, and David Lee Roth, Van Halen. And that's strictly because there's 3 Daves, 2 of which know how to find the guitar talent from everywhere and anywhere. And the other one is incredibly talented on the guitar. Of course, I'm talking about INT's Dave.
Oh, yeah. Right. Big time. Big time. Actually, I saw David Lee Roth play guitar. I was just like blown away. The guy's freaking amazing guitarist. I was like, whoa. I mean, he was with Eddie Van Halen, so he didn't really shed a spotlight with his guitar. But
definitely did not have to.
No, he was so good. I was blown away by how good David Lee Roth was on guitar. I was like, he plays guitar? Like very, very well.
That's funny that you mentioned that. When I first moved to Phoenix and got in the scene, it was hard to find a band that needed a guitar player, and I found a band that needed a singer. And I sang as a frontman in that band for probably, I want to say 3 years before I found a band that needed a guitar player. And when I finally got in to play guitar with a band, nobody knew that I could play, or nobody has seen me play except for really close friends. So that was kind of a fun thing to drop on the scene.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. All right, so what was that? We've got 3 down, 2 more to go, was that? All right, so what's numero cuatro, number 4?
I'm listening to Wet, U.E.T. And that's Jeff Scott Soto with members from Eclipse and Talus.
Yes.
And his other first band.
Another Frontiers venture.
Yep.
Yes, I have heard. I had to think about it for a moment. I accidentally saw Jeff Scott Soto with Trans-Siberian a little
Yeah.
while ago. It was. I didn't know he was going to be the singer. I was like, "Whoa! Oh my God!" Dude, Jeff Scott Soto. But yeah, I like Wet. Actually, I had to think about it for a minute. But yeah, Eclipse is a freaking fantastic band. Jeff Scott Soto's great. So yeah, it's some good stuff, man. Do they have a lot of music out?
Yeah, they really do. More than you would think. And I've got a particular favorite album by them, which they have a track that's probably what I would consider to be a salute and, a total, to Journey. And it's called If I Fall. And everything about it, you can just kind of tell that that's the foundation and what it was directed at.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
of course, the great big anthem ending. And I'm all about, if it makes you feel like that and you want to move, it's got that anthem, it's got that melody, that you're listening to what I would say is the right music.
Right.
You can't listen to the
Yeah.
wrong music. And if it doesn't hit you, it's not the right stuff.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's when I was talking to Simeon, my last guest, he says I think it was Duke Ellington that said this, there's only two kinds of music, good music and bad music.
I think I heard him say that when I was watching. What caught my ear first was Duke Ellington. What are you guys talking about now?
Sir Duke. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So that's on their latest album, that song. What was that called again, please?
If I Fall. I think that's one album back.
Okay, If I Fall. I'm going to check that out immediately. Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, nice. I like that. All right, I'm going to listen to some more WET for a while. That sounds awesome. All right, who do we got on the last stand here?
Heat.
Number 5.
Listening to Heat.
I love them.
Dude,
From Sweden.
That's awesome.
From Sweden. I love them. Yeah, they're, gosh, what was their big album? What was their, gosh dang it, with all the big hits on it? Anyway, they're great.
I'm all caught up in their re-releases and their, they brought Kenny Lacrimo back.
Right.
And of course, if you know enough about Heat, then you know that Eric Gronwall, the singer that was more recently in Skid Row, was in Heat. And he was the second singer, and then he had major leukemia or that kind of thing.
Right.
So that illness took him out for a while, but he had the best doctors, and I'm sure he had all the right people praying for him, and he was able to, beat it. And then he got the chance to sing for Skid Row. And so he also on YouTube, and he does all kinds of covers, and sometimes he has a bunch of guys that also play with him. Sometimes he does backing tracks, and he reminds me of what Dino Jalusic is doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I like Dino. I totally got into him for a little while there, but then I just got a little bit too much for me. Sometimes his voice is powerful and as amazing as it is, and the way he's able to play every instrument and everything, it blows my mind musically. And I was really into him for like about 3 or 4 months, and finally I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, I love him, but he's just a little too intense for me sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Did you hear the cover he did of Jane with Portnoy and Holkstra?
Yes. Oh my gosh, did I play that over it? I put that on repeat because that's one of my favorite songs anyway. I'm a huge Mickey Thomas. Yeah, I'm a huge Mickey fan. And that was like their first song with Mickey, Starship. But anyway, yeah, no, I love that. I played that on repeat. I still have it on my phone. I play it all the time. That's fantastic. I think that's the song that got me in.
So back to Heat, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that Kenny was back and they had the release video that came out with him in the studio doing Rise. And I can play that song anywhere, anytime. And I can't really sing like Kenny, but if in my car on the freeway by myself, I'll be belting it out.
Nice. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Yeah, they were great. Still are great, but there's like that little 2 or 3 album stretch. I was really into them. They're so awesome. Great band. You know who loves them is Alice Cooper.
Yeah?
I guess they shared a stage a couple of gigs, and he was just blown away by them.
Right
how
on.
good they were. Yeah, he's a pretty big fan. So yeah, that's cool, man. I like your lineup. What else? Okay, so those are the 5. So let's color outside of the lines a little bit. What's something that's not in the rock genre that you absolutely love?
Jason Aldean.
Ooh, cool. I like Jason Aldean a lot too. Very cool, man.
Keith Urban, Brad Paisley.
Yep.
couple
Brad
guys in the
Paisley's.
country scene that can play guitar like monsters too.
Yeah, he's one of the best guitarists around in the Nashville scene, I think, right now. Yeah, he's up there. He's way high up there, actually. That's great. That's cool. Do you ever jazz out at all?
Well, I don't know if you'd say jazz out, but I love smooth jazz.
There you go.
Dave Koz, Mindy Bear, what's his name? I want to say Peter White.
Oh yeah, I love Peter White.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was lucky enough to see him
that
play
guitar
live.
playing.
Yeah.
I just say his name and I can hear.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah,
Oh,
he did a lot of really cool stuff a long time ago with Al Stewart. You know, The Year of the Cat and Time Passages and all those songs. But yeah, he's pretty amazing, dude. My producer actually is a smooth jazz guy. He had a #1 hit.
wow, cool.
He's really good friends with Dave Koz, actually.
Nice.
That's funny. Yep, that's
And
funny.
take it a step further. I like to listen to Philharmonic Orchestra, Symphony Orchestra stuff. Lately, I've been
Nice.
driving around with that on in the car, and it's like I have my own soundtrack, my own score, you know. Been listening to fingerstyle guitar players like Tommy Emmanuel and
Yeah,
Antoine Dufour.
nice.
There's a production company or record label called Candy Rat, and they've got a whole bunch of those guys. I mean,
Nice.
so aside from my standard guitar heroes like Vi and Van Halen and Satriani, you know, I love
Right.
to listen to these guys that they do all that tapping stuff and those pinch harmonics and extra nails. They grow their nails out so they don't have to hold any
Right.
picks. And I love watching stuff I can't do.
Right. Exactly. No, I get you on that. I
It
get you
keeps
on
me doing
that.
what I can do. So another thing I wanted to mention, and we were talking outside the box or outside the topic matter, I've recently found a station called Wow Factor. And it reminds me of the stations when I was 8, 9 years old in the mid to late 70s, where they played pop, soul, rock and roll, little bit of country. And so you got, Little River Band, you had Peaches and Herb, Pablo Cruz, Pure Prairie League with some Elton John. I keep listening to this station. I can't get enough because, like, I remember that song. I remember this song. Every other song. Stevie Wonder. It just blows my. I heard some ELO the other day on the station. I haven't heard in a really long time, and I was just starting to think back
Nice.
about all the ELO that I love so much. And
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
embarrassed to say that Xanadu soundtrack, all that ELO, I absolutely love. You remember that album? You remember that movie, Xanadu?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
ELO on
awesome.
one side, Olivia Newton-John on the other.
Well,
Great.
yeah, I mean, Jeff Lynne produced the whole thing. That's ELO is the band on the song Xanadu and all that. But no, I'm proud to say we were able to see one of the last 3 gigs that they ever did a few months ago, back in October.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, October. Yeah, no, it was great. It was phenomenal. We got to see him in Sacramento, and it was fantastic. On Mr. Blue Sky, and I didn't know this, that ding, 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 ding sound is a fire hydrant. I mean, a fire extinguisher.
Oh, yeah?
And a little pipe. Yeah. So Mr. Ding, 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 ding. It's like, oh, it's a fire extinguisher. And it was the actual fire extinguisher that they used on the song. It was really cool. Yeah, they were phenomenal. My wife and I are huge ELO fans. I've got like all their vinyl sitting here behind me right now, actually.
So who are you listening to these days if you want to listen to a guitar hero?
Oh, gosh. My guitar hero, he's in my top 5, but he's not the rock guy. My guitar #1 musician of all time, period, is Pat Metheny.
Right on.
Now he's not rock at all, but as far as rock goes, I like Hoekstra a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot. He's great.
Have you heard Marty Friedman's Drama album?
No, I'll have to check that out.
Yes, you should.
I'll have to
Do.
check that out.
Look
Yeah.
it up. Check it out.
Yeah.
I like it so much. It's another one of those albums I'll listen to all the way through and let it go again. I had
Nice.
no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was familiar with him because, of course, he played in Megadeth. But,
Right.
his whole story about now he lives in Japan and, he's got a whole different take on music and didn't even know the language and he moved there. And the Drama album, will floor you.
Cool. Speaking of guitar heroes, yes, how could I not remember? He just passed a little while ago, John Sykes.
Oh yeah.
John Sykes was. Blue Murder is fantastic. Stuff he did
Yeah.
with Thin Lizzy's fantastic. Of course, the White Snake stuff. I mean, he was
Yeah.
it's the man.
Yeah. No,
I miss him.
I agree. Other side of the coin, Jeff Beck. We lost him not
Come
too
on.
long ago.
We're the best of all time. Absolutely. That's fantastic. I love it. Super cool. Right on, man. Oh, that was awesome, man. That was a really cool top 5 list. And it's probably going to change again tomorrow, but and I respect that.
Yeah. You never know what's going to get released tomorrow.
True. True. Well, thank you very much for your time, Joey. Greatly appreciate it, man. Keep rocking. And I know you got a lot of great music coming up. Do you have any recordings coming out anytime soon?
Well, we'll have some teasers coming out because we're going to start promoting for the Terra Shane album. And I've got a bunch of really raw, rough demos on SoundCloud. And like we talked
Nice.
about prior to getting this thing going, if you don't put it out for someone to hear it, then there might be a chance that no one else will ever get to. So that's why
true.
they're there, raw or otherwise.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of your songs like that. They're really good, man. I love it. I love your style. Love it. Thank you, Joey, and thank you for watching and listening to our latest episode of Rock Talk. Catch you next time around.
Made in the USA.